The Alchemist. It was written by Paulo Coelho, a Brazilian author, in 1988. The idea came to him after a spiritual pilgrimage on the road to San Diego in Spain, which deeply changed his perspective on destiny and fate. Chapter 1. The Boy and His Dream. San Diego, a young shepherd from Andalusia, lived a life of freedom and open skies. His companions were his sheep, his shelter was the endless Spanish countryside, and his roof was a blanket of stars. He loved the simple rhythm of his days, leading his flock from field to field, stopping in quiet villages, selling wool to merchants, and reading books under the shade of sycamore trees. But one dream kept returning to him. In this dream, a child appeared and led him to the foot of the Egyptian pyramids. There, the child pointed to a spot, telling him that a treasure awaited him. Before San Diego could see the exact place, he would always wake up. Curiosity began to outweigh doubt. Seeking answers, San Diego visited a gypsy woman who read palms. Her small room smelled of incense. Her dark eyes studied him with intensity. After listening, she told him the dream meant exactly what it seemed. Go to the pyramids. There you will find your treasure. In return for her interpretation, she asked for 1/10 of the treasure when he found it. San Diego left feeling both amused and unsettled. Could a shepherd's dream really be a map? Chapter 2. The Old King's Wisdom. While in a marketplace to sell wool, San Diego encountered an old man dressed in a strange, ancient robe. The man introduced himself as Melchizedek, the king of Salem. He spoke with quiet authority and, to San Diego's amazement, knew details about his life, his parents, his love for travel, his recurring dream. Melchizedek told him about a personal legend, a destiny unique to every person, the thing they are meant to achieve. When you truly want something, the old king said, the universe conspires to help you achieve it. But he also warned that fear, doubt, and the comfort of the familiar often keep people from following their dreams. Before leaving, Melchizedek gave San Diego two stones, Urim and Thummim, to help him make decisions when omens were unclear. Their black and white colors would guide him, but only when he had the courage to act. Inspired and trembling with excitement, San Diego sold his sheep. The familiar life of pastures and wool was gone. Ahead was the unknown. Chapter 3. A Harsh Lesson in Tangier. San Diego crossed a narrow sea to Tangier, a city alive with new colors, sounds, and smells. Minarets rose above the skyline, merchants shouted in Arabic, and the air carried the scent of spices and roasted meat. But San Diego's innocence made him vulnerable. Soon after arriving, he met a young man who offered to guide him to camels for the journey across the desert. Trusting him, San Diego handed over his money only to realize moments later that the man had vanished into the crowd. Penniless, alone, and unable to speak the language, San Diego sat on the steps of a marketplace and wept. For a moment, he considered returning to Spain. But Melchizedek's words echoed in his mind. Every search begins with beginner's luck, and every search ends with the victor being tested. San Diego stood up. He would not give up. He found work cleaning dusty crystal in a shop on a quiet street. The merchant, cautious and tired of life's risks, hired him reluctantly. Chapter 4. The Crystal Merchant. The crystal merchant had spent years dreaming of a pilgrimage to Mecca, yet never took the journey. Fear of change kept him tied to his small shop. San Diego's youthful energy disrupted that routine. One day, San Diego suggested placing some crystal outside to attract passers-by. Sales increased. Then, he proposed serving tea in crystal glasses, combining the beauty of the glass with the aroma of mint tea. This Jew brought more customers. Within months, the shop flourished as it had never before. Over the course of a year, San Diego saved enough to return home and buy a larger flock of sheep, or to continue toward Egypt. From the merchant's quiet sadness, he learned an important lesson. Some people choose not to pursue their dreams because the possibility of failure frightens them more than the certainty of regret. Santiago vowed he would not live that way. Chapter 5. Across the desert with the caravan. Choosing the harder road, Santiago joined the caravan heading east across the Sahara. The journey was long, the sun merciless, and the nights cold under a silver moon. Days passed in silence, broken only by the steady rhythm of camel hooves. On this journey, Santiago met an Englishman traveling with heavy saddlebags filled with books. The man was searching for a master alchemist, someone who could turn any metal into gold and create the elixir of life. He spoke of the philosopher's stone and the universal language that connected all creation. Santiago began to watch for omens, patterns in the desert, the flight of birds, the way the wind shifted. Slowly, he realized that the world was speaking to him in signs, if only he listened closely. Chapter 6. Oasis of Fate. The caravan reached the Alchamist oasis, a vast patch of green in the middle of the desert, where travelers waited out the tribal wars. Here, Santiago's journey took a turn he had not expected. He met Fatima. She came to the well each day, her eyes bright like desert dawn. In her presence, Santiago felt an unshakable certainty, as if the universe had led him here not just for treasure, but for her. Their conversations were brief, yet his heart knew she was part of his destiny. One afternoon, Santiago saw two hawks in the sky. They circled each other, then clashed suddenly. In that instant, Santiago felt a warning danger was coming to the oasis. He told the elders, who prepared defenses. That night, armed men attacked, but the oasis was ready. Lives were saved because Santiago had read the omen. The next day, a rider in white robes approached. His presence was commanding, his eyes sharp. "I am the Alchemist," he said. Chapter 7. Lessons from the Alchemist. The Alchemist agreed to guide Santiago to the pyramids. Riding side by side across the endless dunes, they spoke little, but every word carried weight. The Alchemist thought that fear was a greater barrier than failure. "Listen to your heart," he said, "because it came from the soul of the world, and it will return there someday." Santiago learned that the heart speaks in whispers, sometimes of fear, sometimes of longing, and that he must listen patiently to understand its truth. Santiago worried about leaving Fatima, but the Alchemist assured him, true love does not hold you back from your destiny. It encourages you to fulfill it. If Fatima was meant for him, the desert would bring them together again. The treasure revealed. They traveled deeper into the desert, but one day they were captured by tribesmen suspicious of strangers. To save their lives, the Alchemist demonstrated his mastery. He turned lead into gold before their eyes. Awed, the tribesmen released them, and the Alchemist gave Santiago a portion of the gold as a farewell gift. Alone, Santiago reached the pyramids. Under the vast African sky, he fell to his knees in gratitude. He began digging at the spot he had seen in his dream. But as he worked, a group of robbers appeared. They beat him and took the gold the Alchemist had given him. One of the robbers laughed. "Don't be a fool. I once had a dream about treasure, Jew. It was buried in Spain, under a sycamore tree in the ruins of an old church. But I am not stupid enough to cross a desert for it." When they left, Santiago lay in the sand, breathless, but smiling. He knew exactly where his treasure was. Epilogue: the circle completed. Santiago returned to Spain. In the quiet ruins of the old church where he had slept with his sheep, beneath the same sycamore tree from his dream, he dug into the earth. His shovel struck wood. Inside a small chest lay gold coins, jewels, and precious stones. The treasure had been here all along, but without the journey, he would never have understood its meaning. He thought of Fatima, of the desert, of the omens and the voices of his heart. He was richer not only in gold, but in the wisdom of the soul of the world. His personal legend was fulfilled, but his story was not over. The wind whispered from the south, carrying with the scent of the desert and the promise of love, waiting for him at the oasis.